Today I'm excited to give you a review of two different furnaces from the ToAuto company. First of all, I'm going to give you a little introduction to the ToAuto company, and then I'm going to give you a review of the 6 kilogram furnace, and then I'm going to review the 12 kilogram furnace, and then I'm going to fire the furnace up and see how it lights. Alright, so let's get started. First of all, let me read you a few things from the ToAuto Metal Studio website, ToAutoTool.com. I will go ahead and put a card up here so you can come back and get that card for their website, or you can look in the description of the video. I'll leave a link there as well. ToAuto history, I got this right from their website. Who we are. Fast to Buy company started with an online purchase of metalworking tools and asked the question, how to quickly deliver these tools to the people who need them so that they can solve their problem quickly. The answer has changed the way people are getting these tools. Since the establishment of Fast to Buy in 2011, we have focused on providing metal processing related tools like 3D printers, gold melting furnaces, forging furnaces, desoldering stations, etc. Our business started with www.fasttobuy.com. Then we joined Amazon, eBay, AliExpress, and Alibaba. Our vision is to make the procurement of industrial products more convenient, making simple with a real tool. In 2015, we established the ToAuto brand, determined to provide professional and convenient tools for metalworking lovers, be their helping hands, and create more fun for them. Fast, simple, real fun. Let it fast to make decision, promptly obtain your idea tools. Let it simple, simpler, simplest to make your work more efficient. Let it be real to make your idea into reality. ToAuto tools. Let it be fun to start your creation with ToAuto. Today I'm going to show you two of their Foundry kit. The first one is a 6 kilogram crucible Foundry, and the second one is a 12 kilogram crucible Foundry. So let's get right to it. I'm going to do a review of actually two furnaces that I was sent from ToAuto, and then I haven't looked at this one yet, so it's going to be a brand new review. Alright, so this is like a kit that you can get this kit and get started melting metal. These are like welding gloves. I have used welding gloves before, and while they do work, when they get hot, they sort of shrink up, and then it's hard to get your fingers in there. So I don't think these are anything more special than welding gloves, but that's not too bad. They'll keep you from getting sparks on your hands and stuff like that. They also sent a graphite mold. Let's see here. Here is a crucible tong. That's what they call it here. They did send a crucible. So this is one thing that I did tell them that I thought they could improve upon. So they're wanting you to grab the crucible like this and then pour it like this, which I don't like doing it that way because I think it gets your hands a little bit too close to the crucible. And when this crucible is red hot, I don't like lifting it on the lip like that. I mean, they say that these crucibles have hundreds of uses. I've never seen a crucible that is going to get hundreds of uses out. But these could be some kind of really special crucible. We'll have to wait and see how they perform. Here is the furnace. Got some handles on the side, which is nice. It's not near as heavy as my furnaces that I've built myself are. The lid has cable in it, and the inside has castable with cable. It's castable in there, and it has cable on the inside of it, so it's pretty light. And over here there's a inlet with a little bolt here to tighten down on the burner. And you can see the castable on the lid. So one thing I did say about this furnace is that I would go ahead and put some castable refractory, or ITC I think is called, the stuff that you put on top of the ceramic fiber, so that the fibers aren't going to be open to the air, and from the movement from the furnace and the burner burning is not going to let the particles get loose and fly into my nose from the furnace here. That's one thing that I was just going to do myself when I start using this furnace. Also, one thing I didn't like, as you can see here, that this hinge is not a super heavy duty hinge. So when you put the lid over like that, it puts a lot of stress on that. So I recommended they put a more heavy duty hinge on there, or maybe put a chain up from here that would attach up to here so that it wouldn't go back the whole way. So that was one of the things I thought could be improved upon. Let's look at the bottom of this. Oh, it's got some nuts down there for some feet, so it's not sitting on the ground. That's sort of nice. Right, so let's look at the burner. Okay, here is the burner with some hose for the propane. And this needs to be actually put together because it's just loose right now. This, I would call this a Ron Reel style burner. And let me bring it over there to show you guys. This needs to be adjusted because the nut here is loose, and on here there's a little nozzle on this pipe here, and that's where the gas is going to spray out. That needs to be it needs to be tuned, and it needs to be aimed so that it'll go straight down the burner tube. When I built, this is the kind of burner that I built when I first built my first furnace and my first burner. And what I did to tune it is I hooked this pipe up to water, and I put it so it was straight up in the air. And then when I hooked it up to water, like from a hose, the water, you could tell if it was going straight up the middle or not. Because if this thing is not tuned so that the gas is flowing straight up the tube, it's not going to get the oxygen flow that it needs to be a good burner. So that needs to be tuned for sure. Here's the regulator that they sent with it. Thing is nice. It is nice and light. So those tongs also were what you were going to use to get the crucible out of the furnace. So you're going to reach in here and get your tongs, get it out, and then pour it like this. Don't really like that idea. What I use for my furnaces is I made these pieces, and they don't quite fit this crucible, don't quite fit this furnace, so I might have to bend these to make them work, or I would just make another pair. But with this one, yeah, they're not going down into the furnace quite, but I like to lift it out like this and then set the crucible down on a fire brick. I set it down inside here so that I can, this again is not quite the right size for this crucible, but you get the idea. You put this down over the lip, and then you can lift it up, and I'll have to make a different one for these crucibles, and then you pour it like that. So let's go ahead and look at the new furnace to see what that's going to look like. Alright, so here's the updated model from the ToAuto company. I'll go ahead and leave a link to their company in the description too, so that you guys can take a look at their products. They usually have some specials going on. Okay, it's ToAuto, and the company is Fast to Buy Limited. I'll leave a link to their website down in the description, and I'll also leave a link to the Facebook group here that the They actually hang out on a Facebook group that I started, that I'm moderator of, and they've got their own Facebook group or Facebook page here too. They have a share your stories and ideas on our Facebook page. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's take a look and see what we got here. Right here are the tongs. These look like they're forged out of rebar maybe. Packaged real nice, like this nice styrofoam. By the way, this is not the kind of styrofoam that you use for doing lost foam casting. I tried this kind of styrofoam the first time I tried lost foam casting, and it didn't melt out at all, because this foam is really very hard and hard to melt. Right, here's the gloves. Nice. So I probably will coat this with some kind of a castable refractory, or maybe the ITC 100. I don't know if that's the right number for the product, but there's a product that you make that you can coat this ceramic fiber so that the little fibers don't get loose and go in your lungs. Let's look at the bottom of this. Yep, it's got some nuts bolted on there to keep it off of the ground. The coating in here looks really nice. It's got a nice refractory liner, and then it has a coating of refractory around that. Looks real nice. Here is an upgrade for this furnace for sure. That is, they have a burner here that is more like a Michael Porter style burner. It's got a flare on the end here. Looks like it should have a little cap on the back here, which I'm not finding yet. So this propane connector looks like the one that'll go right into the tank. And this regulator looks like it goes up to 30 psi, and looks like it's adjustable, so that you can adjust the size of the flame. So this needs to be hooked up as well. That needs to be screwed onto the end of the inlet for the burner here. That burner is definitely in place, or the nozzle I should say is definitely in place. But I still haven't found, it seems like there should be a nut or a washer on here to be able to choke it down to get it started easily. Maybe it's designed that you can just turn it on low pressure and it'll light up and let the furnace get warm, and then maybe they decided you don't need the choke on it. So all in all, I would say that this is a nice little kit that can get you started melting some metal. Pretty much has everything you need to get started. Just need to get your propane tank and get it started. One thing I should say you will need is you will need like a little thin block of castable refractory, or maybe a thin fire brick to set your crucible on top of, so that the flames will swirl around and get some heat underneath the crucible. It can help get the get things melting a lot quicker. So this will go in here. Looks like that's machined pretty well so that it fits nicely. Let's take this out to my foundry and let's get it fired up. Okay, you can see why I call this my backyard foundry area, because it's definitely backyard foundry. Actually going to use this for a melt. I'll probably put this up on some fire bricks, or make a fire brick or pad for it. So I'm just gonna fire it up today just to give a little test run of the furnace, because I don't have anything ready to melt right now. All right, so I put the regulator onto my propane tank, turned the propane tank on, put the burner into the burner tube. That really fits really nice. There's not even much space that any extra air could get in there. I usually use a MAP gas or propane gas, little tool to light my furnace. Let's go ahead and turn the propane regulator up a little bit. You can hear a little whistling come through there. You want to make sure you light this with your furnace open for sure. That's what I was worried about. It's how it doesn't really light very easily without having a choke on it. It keeps going out. So normally what I like to do on my burner, I have a choke that I could put down, but you can just put your hand over there and you can see that it's going to burn nice and lean that way. And then once the furnace gets heated up, it's going to have no problem running just the way it is. It looks like that's a 1/4 thread. You could probably just take a little fender washer and tap it for a 1/4 thread and just screw it right down on there for a little bit of a choke. Or you could just stick a piece of cardboard on it for a little piece of choke, or you can just put your hands on it the way I have it here for the choke. Alright, so it's lit, it's burning, and it'll start roaring once I take my fingers off of there. Once it's warmed up a little bit, it'll stay burning too. Yep, went out again. So I'm going to turn the propane up a little higher. Ah, feels so good. Give it a little more propane here. There it's off. When I turn my furnace off, I like to take the burner out so that this burner actually looks pretty tough, so it's not going to be a problem really, but just so that the burner doesn't get all hot, especially down to these plastic parts. Probably not really a problem on this particular burner because this burner looks like it works pretty well. Oh, and I do apologize for coming out in shorts. I wasn't really planning to light this up today. Go ahead and let that cool off. I would say that was a successful firing of the furnace. Looks to be a nice little furnace, a nice little kit to get you started melting some metal. One thing I did think that this hinge here is still not the most sturdy thing in the world. But I've never even used a hinge on any of my foundries. I just take the lid off with my foundry gloves, set it up to the side, and then set it back on. And with this lid, that's going to be even easier because it's nice and very light. So I think that this is really a nice little kit to get you started melting some metal. And the company actually is from China, so that can be a little scary to order from a company so far away. But these guys have done everything for me that they said they would do. They have really followed through very well to me personally, and so I wouldn't be afraid to order from them. So you can also come check them out on my Facebook page. I'll put the link below. Put the link to their Facebook page below in the description as well. And when I get this thing fired up and melt some metal, I will go ahead and put a link up here to that video. So if that video is up, there will be a link here. If it's not up yet, I'll just leave a link over here to a video that Google says you will like. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again real soon. Have a blessed day.